I'm Chris. Today I'm going to show you how to use App Inventor for Android to make my Googly Eyes app. Blah, 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 blah. Are you ready to get started? Great. Now, of course, the first thing you're going to need to do is go to App Inventor for Android on the MIT website. We're going to start a new project. Oh, I need to start my screen recorder. Alright, we'll start a new project. We'll call it Googly Eyes. Okay, so sizing, we're going to make that responsive. And we don't want the title to be visible, and we don't want the status bar to be visible. We want the screen orientation to be landscape, and the background color to be black. Great. Now we need to add a layout, a horizontal arrangement. We want it to be the full size, so we're going to change the height from automatic to fill parent. We're going to change the width also to fill parent, the background color to be black. Inside of the horizontal arrangement, we need two canvases. Canvas 1, oops, and Canvas 2. We're going to rename Canvas 1 as left canvas. We're going to rename Canvas 2 as right canvas. We'll set the background color for both to black. And we'll set the paint color to white, even though we're not going to use it. This way, if we want to go back at some point and use that, the color will already be something different than the background. Having the paint color the same as your background color might cause you a headache in the future, and it's such a simple thing to fix. Let's also set the height and width of these to fill parent. And we're actually going to set the height and width in the app. This is just so that when we're looking at it on our screen, it looks similar to what we want to use. And inside each of these, we're going to place a ball. And this first ball, start with ball 1, let's rename it. This is going to be the white of the eye. So we'll call this left, or let's call it white. White, left. Sounds like something Bugs Bunny would say. Okay, so white left, we're going to make the paint color white. And I want to change the Z to 0 because I'm going to put another ball and I don't want them to collide, and I want the second ball to always be on top. So if this one has a Z of 0 and the other one has a Z of 1, that will put it above the white with the Z of 0. And now I can go to ball 2, give it a color of white, give it a Z of 0, and rename it to white right. We'll add one more ball to each. And we'll rename this, this will be the pupil of the eye, so we'll call it pupil left. We'll set its color to blue. You can make this one any color you want. I'm going to set the radius to 45 to give it a good size. And again, you can set this radius to any size you want. Blue, Z of 1. Alrighty, make sure it's on the screen. And that's great. Now we also need to detect when the phone is being shook. So let's put in an accelerometer. You see the accelerometer just drops down because it is a non-visible component. Okay, we've got everything we need so far here. Let's go ahead and go to the blocks. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to initialize the app. So when our app starts, the first thing that happens is it goes to when screen 1 initialize. All these things will happen immediately when the app is loaded. And we want to set the sizes of our canvases. So I'm going to come here and find a set canvas height, this one. And we want to set the height to be the same as the screen height. So I go into screen 1 and get a height block. Okay. And we're going to set the right canvas height also to the screen height. Then we want to set the width. I'm going to put this in the middle. This one here. So this is going to be the right canvas width. And this is going to be the left canvas width. Now the width should actually be the screen width divided by 2. So we've got the screen width. Well, now we need to divide it by 2. We'll go into math, find a division block. Oops. Works out. And divide it by 2. If I just type the number 2 and hit enter, it pops in there. Also, I can do it this way. Get my division block. Plug this in. And then in math, I can go to the top, and there's a number block right there. I can grab that and plug it in. Can't divide by 0, though. Need to divide by 2. Great. Now we need to set the location of the eye whites. So let's go into white left, and we need to find its x, the set x. And we want to set the x to the pupil's width divided by 2. So I'm going to reuse this division block. Just get rid of screen width and use canvas width. Canvas width divided by 2. Same thing with the right. To be the right canvas divided by 2. And then we need to set the y. So we'll change this to y, change this to right, change this to y. And then this one, instead of being the width, will be the height divided by 2. And height, right canvas, height divided by 2. And then we need to set the size of the pupil. And we set these things like this so that it's dynamic. In other words, it's going to change if we use a different phone. If I set an absolute size and I use it on a tablet, it's going to look a lot different than it does on a smaller phone. And so we're setting these things relative to the screen size, and that will make our app hopefully work the same across a lot of different phones. And that's usually what you want, is the same result on every phone. So let's go ahead and find the white. We want to set the white radius, so set radius. And the radius is going to be a little bit trickier. I'm going to get a minus block. And then I want this canvas height divided by 2. I'm going to copy that and put it in the first part. And put a number block here. And I'm going to take off 20. We hid the 2 bars, the title bar and the status bar. And that changes our screen size a little. But App Inventor doesn't completely account for it. And so we're going to shrink the radius. Hopefully we'll make it look correct. We'll see. And we'll do the same thing for the right one, except for this will be white right and this will be right canvas. Even though our canvases are essentially the same size, I think we should do it this way. So now, what are we going to do with our app? Well, we want it to know when the phone is being shaken, and we want to do something. So we'll take out this accelerometer 1 shaking event, and we'll tell it to do, well, we want these pupils to move. So we need to give our pupils a heading. So we'll set the heading And I like to use a random heading. So we'll go to random integer from 0 to 360. And I know that 0 and 360 are the same thing. It's just a little bit easier to use this way. And we'll do the same thing with the right. And then we also need them to have a speed. Get rid of that. Change this to speed. And I like to use a speed of 200. We'll copy that one and we'll change it to the left. So when we shake the phone or tablet, we will give it a heading that is random and we'll give it a speed that is random. The other thing we need to do is what happens when our ball, when our pupil hits the edge of the canvas. And if we go into the pupil, we'll see here there's a when edge reached. And we pull that event out, and there's actually a predefined thing called bounce. So we could just have it bounce right off. But again, I like using this random integer. So I'm going to do that and put it here. So we're going to give it a random integer. It's going to randomly change direction whenever it hits the edge. That can cause for some weird bounces, but I think it gives it a more interesting effect. Then what we also need to do is we need to slow the pupil down. If we don't, it will bounce forever and ever and ever. That's not a good thing. So we're going to go into our control and get an if-then block. And what we're going to do is test if the pupil has speed. So if the pupil's speed is greater than 0. You go to math, get this equal block, change it to a greater than block. Now I need to get my pupil's speed. Pupil speed. So if the pupil's speed is greater than 0, then we can do something. And what we're going to do is set the speed. Set speed. And again, do some math. And basically what we want to do is set the speed to whatever the current speed is minus 5. So I copy the current speed. That's what this is the current speed. Think of it as just something holding a number, which is the current speed. And then I'm going to put a 5. So now, when the pupil hits an edge, it will get a new random direction, and as long as the speed is greater than 0, it's going to change the speed to whatever it is now, minus 5 units. And eventually it will hit 0 and it will stop. When it hits 0, it will fail the test and it will not keep minusing 5. And that's good because we don't want our app just to run, even though nothing will be happening on the screen. I mean, I don't think if you have a negative speed that the ball will start to move backwards. I could be wrong. So we're just going to do that and make sure our app stops. And now we need to do the same thing for the right pupil. We'll just copy this. And of course I get an error because I have 2 left pupil edge reached. We'll change this to right. Change all of these to right. Okay, now we're ready to test. So let's go ahead and use the AI companion. I wasn't using it while building the app, which normally I would do. It's a good way because you can live test the app. That's something I really like about App Inventor. I didn't do it because I've already built this app a few times. And also I've been having a little bit of issues tonight connecting my phone to the App Inventor, and that's what's happening now. Put in the code and it's not working. So I'm going to have to test the old-fashioned way, which is to build the app and download it. So I will build it with a QR code. There's my QR code. All right, we are installing the updated app. And there we go. And we shake it. Uh-oh. That's a problem. When I shake it, the white is moving, not the pupil. Oh my goodness. What did I do? Okay, let's see here. When accelerometer shaking, set pupil left heading to random enter, set pupil ball 2. Chris, how did you not name that right? Pupil right. I must not have clicked OK. I thought I remember changing that. Okay, let's go back to blocks. Okay, so pupil right, heading. Oh, and I've set my white speeds. Wow, I was way off. Okay, so pupil left and pupil right. Speed. When edge reach pupil, 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 pupil. Wow, that was a big mistake. Okay, let's fix this. We'll build it again. The best way to learn is to make mistakes. Hopefully, watching this, you caught that mistake. I feel very silly for making that mistake, especially it's my app. All right, let's install the updated app. And we'll open the updated app. Okay, let's test it. Shake, shake, shake. And it looks like the pupils are moving around. It's hard to tell, I'm looking in the reflection of the camera. Shake, shake. The left pupil is moving around, but the right pupil is not. What is wrong with the right pupil? Oh, I did it again. I set everything to pupil left instead of pupil right. Wow, 2 big mistakes in a row. Please forgive me. It's about 1:30 in the morning here. Okay, installing the new version. So anyway, I did notice right now I'm having problems with the App Inventor companion connecting to the server. Not exactly sure why I'm having that problem. It's been that way for a little while tonight. But what I noticed before was when I was live testing the app, it didn't work correctly when I live tested it. Okay, so there's the app. Let's see. No, still a problem with the right. Oh, I see. This says white right, but it should be pupil right. Oh, goodness. Have to build it again. So you might be wondering, okay, if that thing was set to pupil white, why did the pupil just stop? Well, because it reached the edge and it didn't know it should bounce. We didn't tell it to bounce. I told it when the white part hit the edge, it should bounce. So it didn't really know what to do when the pupil hit the edge. All right, let's open the new app. Open. Let's give it a shake. Shake, shake. And I see 2 pupils moving around crazy. Success! Whee! All right. That's it for me. Thanks for joining me on this tutorial. On the next tutorial, we're going to add some extra features to our app. I'll see you next time. You are awesome. See ya.